Now, this story shows why the game journalists are panicking right now, why they are absolutely horrified, and why they are releasing all these bizarre articles, why they're attacking games that are coming from Asia and are praising games from the West, which barely managed to get 300 concurrent players. As I said in a previous video, these games have more pronouns in them than people actually playing. So, in order to understand where their fear is coming from, you need to understand why they stand for. So what they stand for is the fact that they're promoting that rich, pure American diversity, that awesome inclusivity and equity. So most of the game journalists, they can't actually play video games, but they have gotten themselves entrenched within the industry where they are promoting this ideology, they are promoting their friends, they are writing a lot of clickbait shit that no one wants to read, they are publishing a lot of rage bait articles, and they need the status quo to remain the same because they are talentless. Like when the owners of Kotaku forced them to write at least 10 game guides per week, a lot of these journalists quit because they really can't do it. Like, they don't know anything about video games. All they know is how to spread their ideology. They have no clue about the industry. They do not know what the customer wants. They can't even relate with the customer, right? So they do not want things to change. But the question is, like, how did things get to the point where they are now? And the answer is through fear and terror. And I'm not using these words lightly. There is one of the representatives from Sweet Baby that went to a public conversation, a public debate, and she was telling people, I think it was GDC, right? Was that GDC? She was basically telling people that if you work at a company and they are not promoting that rich, pure American diversity and that awesome inclusivity, you have to go to a salesperson and you have to terrorize them. You have to put the fear into them. So what does she mean? Well, what she means is that if you do not have that rich American diversity, then you tell them that there are people on Twitter that are going to get offended, they're going to downvote your game, they're going to put you on blacklists, they're going to do their best in order to damage your business. So in other words, that rich, pure American diversity didn't sprout naturally. It wasn't like one video game that decided to include it and it made a lot of money, so more games started copying the pattern. It wasn't that gamers were demanding it. No, it was like, put the fear into the salesperson because otherwise bad things will happen. And now we notice that the fear just isn't there. Now we notice that those games that are filled with that spice melange, that rich, pure body type A, body type B nonsense, are not selling. And not only that, but you had Hogwarts where they tried to boycott it and nothing happened. And I mean, Hogwarts went and sold a lot of copies. You have Genshin Impact where a lot of weirdos on Twitter were freaking out that the skin colors aren't like exactly as that pure, rich American diversity requires them to be. So they decided to boycott the game. Nothing happened. The game ended up selling even more. And now you have an independent game developer. Like, surely you cannot find an easier target, right? Like, surely they're going to manage to boycott this game. So what exactly happened? Well, the game is a roguelike and apparently has marriages in it. You have like this troublemaker going on the forum and wanting to make the game political. Now, I know the left will say, well, hold on a little bit, V. Homosexuality is not political. Like, putting your dick in someone's ass is not political. Which is true, but then please explain to me the definition of identity politics, what they are, who created them, and what are they used for, right? So it's in the fucking name. It's identity politics, right? Like, we're in 2024. Can you stop pretending to be retarded, por favor? Like, it's not that difficult. Alright, like, pretending is a choice. You need to stop pretending that this is genuinely about a person wanting to see this type of relationships in a game, when in reality, it is like trying to pressure the developer because you found the target. And I gotta say, I can understand why some people wouldn't wanna, because you get the audience that you cater to. And some of these people, some of these woke individuals are part of the how do we allow it club, So they will come into a space And they won't be just happy enjoying the space. The moment they come there, it's like, but how can we allow these jokes to exist? How do we allow these other customers to have fun? Why are we allowing, And then they're bringing in their censorship, they're bringing in their killjoy. So I can understand developers like not wanting to cater to these types of individuals that are renowned for being, I wouldn't even say thin-skinned because it doesn't genuinely upset them. But they're troublemakers. Like, they're looking around and they're trying to find people that they can target. Because at the end of the day, it's not the game that they're enjoying. It's the fact that they can take someone down. They can cancel someone, right? So this is probably the main reason of why the developer didn't want to do it. I can only speculate. But apparently he issues an actually well-written post saying that the main purpose of the family system is to create a legacy through children. And given our limited ways to interact with NPCs, I don't think there's a good way to represent relationships, so I don't plan to expand that right now. More extended interactions were something that some players wished was a bigger focus of the game, but unfortunately it would take too long, and probably the removal of conversations and dialogue systems to turn Soulash 2 into The Sims, as well as the other games I'm already trying to mix. We're going to have to see if I ever get excited about it, but right now I'm too pumped up to go to work to delay it any further. So, in other words, like, he's not saying a flat out no, right? He's basically saying, not yet, I don't really feel that this is my vision, I don't really feel that this should happen right now. To which, these individuals, a couple of chuckleheads on Twitter, got absolutely livid. They got insane, and immediately they started boycotting, they were starting to give business advice, going like, oh, you don't understand, you're not just alienating a huge portion of your customer base, but you are also alienating yourself, because in AAA development, there are these blacklists, and we will make sure that your name shines upon those lists. It was just completely unhinged stuff. And the developer then got upset, started fighting with them, saying that I will never bow to your Amazon flag. I will never kneel in front of Jeff Bezos' rainbow flag, because the only flag I kneel to is the Polish flag, motherfucker. Like, Poland is still here. And he started singing his national anthem, I assume. No, but it was funny. Like, the conversation on Twitter was pretty much like that. So what ended up happening, right? I mean, he was in the crosshairs. The ire of the internet was upon him. So what happened? Did he pack up and leave? Did he block the comments? I noticed that is like one of the most perfect woke behaviors, to give your comments disability, right? Like, all of a sudden, I'm barring the doors, I'm locking the windows, and I cry about harassment. Well, let's see. Actually, he did get negative reviews. Like, as we can see here, right? Like, normally he was getting this level of negativity, and all of a sudden the negative reviews are coming down. But, oh, what do we see here? Oh, look at the positive reviews. It looks like a middle finger, doesn't it? It looks like a middle finger that's being given to these moral busybodies, these people that just can't let others alone. Like, you have an entire genre of AAA that caters to you. Must you go after the indies as well? And even then, if you genuinely like the concept so much, why can't you make a mod? Like, if there is such a huge demand, and you're basically saying, well, like, I really wish I could do this in this game, why aren't you making a mod? Because it's not about the quality of the game. It's not about having it in. It's about getting the developer to take a knee, isn't it? It's about getting the developer to cater to you. But, as we got to see recently, the cancellation culture from the left is becoming ineffective. It's a paper tiger. Like, they do not have the numbers anymore. Their behavior has spooked a lot of people from their groups. No one wants to associate with this type of behavior. It's irrational. So, now when they're trying to cancel independent game developers, when they're trying to cancel Genshin Impact, when they're trying to cancel other games, people just buy the games out of spite. Like, you have managed to create such a negative public PR that the moment you go after a game, you will have people that weren't even interested in the game to begin with just purchasing out of spite, and it frustrates them so much, because I see them, it's like, oh, why would you buy a game if you don't want to play it? You know, like, the same question can be asked. Why aren't you buying Concord? Why aren't you promoting Concord? Where's your Concord avatar? Why did you, doing Let's Plays with Concord and encouraging other people to play? Because, like, that's the game you like. And for some reason, you're not purchasing it, you're not supporting it, you're not promoting it. Very fascinating, right? But, like, when it comes to tearing down indie developers, all of a sudden, they're all together and they're all attempting to do it in unison. But they don't have the numbers anymore. So this is why the game journalists are upset, because as we mentioned before, the way to propagate this ideology wasn't to convincing, debating, showing that it's profitable. No, it was fear tactics, fear mongering. It's like, do the ideology or else the people on Twitter are going to come after you. And now they don't have the people on Twitter. So what are they going to do? How are they going to keep promoting the ideology? I mean, it's going to run out of inertia at some point, because right now it's still going due to the inertia, but, it's going to be interesting to see what games will be coming up in 2 or 3 years. Because this is not sustainable. They generally cannot sustain this. And if they do try to sustain this, then the independent game developers are going to take over. If not, the Asian markets managed to do that before. So let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.